This is water filtration and inquiry activity. The assignment: using provided materials, build a water filter that models the way the layers of the earth filter water during infiltration as part of the water cycle. These are the materials that we were to use. To be able to filter water, of course, you need some dirty water. I also decided to use the bottoms of water bottles since I didn't have any small plastic cups available. Given the provided materials, the choice was what materials to use, what order to put them in, and what materials modeled what part of the earth. I did some research about the layers of the earth and how they filter water during infiltration. It seemed pretty clear that some layers of the earth filter water physically by pulling out particles. This would be modeled by the cheesecloth, which would simulate the plant material on the earth's surface, and the gravel, which would simulate dirt and rocks. Other materials, like the charcoal and the alum, seemed to have a different purpose. Trial number 1 included 3 layers: cheesecloth, gravel mixed with sand, and charcoal. The cheesecloth and the gravel mixed with sand would pull out physical particles like the top layers of the Earth's surface, and the charcoal would remove other impurities. The cheesecloth would model plant leaves, roots, and sticks at the top layers of the Earth, and the gravel and sand would model the rocky layers of the Earth. For trial 1, the water moved through my filtration system pretty well. The top layers caught lots of large particles, but the resulting filtered water was still pretty dirty. According to the hint we received and my research, adding alum to the dirty water before filtration would improve its ability to be filtered. The alum causes the particles in the water to stick together, forming larger clumps of particles. This would allow the physical filtration to catch the particles more easily. In addition, allowing the alum some time to work in the dirty water would improve its effectiveness. So for trial 2, I tried moving the cheesecloth down a layer and putting the gravel on top. I did a separate layer of sand and gravel rather than mixing the two together. I thought this would be more similar to the layers of the earth in that there usually is an entire layer of one type of rock or sand rather than 2 materials being mixed together in the same layer. For trial 2, I added the alum to the dirty water and then filtered it right away. You can see that the water moves through the filter pretty slowly as the large particles are trapped, but eventually some cleaner water comes out the bottom. For trial 3, I went back to the cheesecloth on top, then the gravel, and then the sand for physical filters. I thought that this was more similar to the Earth's layers because the water would contact plant material first, then dirt and rock. Next, I put charcoal for some chemical filtration, and I put the coffee filter as the last layer since it would filter very small particles. I also allowed the dirty water with the alum added to it to sit for about 20 minutes before attempting to filter it. You can see that the dirty water appears very different after sitting. For trial 3, the water moved through the filter very quickly, and the water that results looked pretty clear. What is the level of inquiry in this activity? This activity had a very high level of inquiry. The only facets that weren't entirely self-directed were the question and the materials. The teacher gave some direction for the question and the materials, but the learner could still refine the question as they saw fit. The other elements of inquiry, evidence collected, research done, and the way the learning was communicated were all determined by the learner, making the activity a very high level of inquiry.